Hello, my name is Solomon. I'm here to talk about how AI is going to change how we work. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Well, I was talking with the amazing organizing team here, and thank you so much for having me here. Thank you. It's my first time in Israel ever, but it will not be my last. So, yeah, we were discussing, okay, what should I talk about? And they said, well, maybe give everybody context. You know, we're all using containers and all the stuff that's built on top of it, but like, how did that happen? What was the context for all this stuff being created in the first place? And then I was trying to prepare a presentation on that, and to be honest, I kind of couldn't remember all the details because it's been so long. And I looked through my computer for old presentations, old documents, to try and refresh my memory on the sequence and the details. And actually, I found a lot of stuff, like a lot of presentations. So I'm going to try and share some of the raw content in there. Some of it's pretty funny. It's a little dated now. Anyway, so first I want to give you the summary. We launched Docker, and it was an overnight success. The end. That's kind of what everyone remembers once a product is, you know, successful, right? You kind of rewrite history, and you say, I had a vision, and then I launched it, and then it worked, and then, you know, that's it. So in reality, it was not that simple. And my subtitle is History of an Obsession, because I've been obsessed with this particular technology and particular use case for a while. So, well, it was also my nightmare scenario, but it's working perfectly. So, so I actually started much earlier than the moment Docker was actually launched in 2008. So just to kind of set the stage, I was in France. I had recently quit my job to try working on this technology that I was very excited about, but that as far as I could tell, absolutely no one else was. No one cared. But I thought, okay, maybe I'll try anyway, and I'll start hacking on it and telling the world about it. So now I'm going to put myself in a situation, because I found a presentation. I think it's the earliest presentation I could find on the topic, and I started hacking on it in 2007, but then only put together a presentation in 2008 to sell, you know, the vision. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me put myself in situation here. Okay. Hi, I'm Solomon. I want to talk to you about the cloud. .cloud is, oh my God, I have not given this presentation in 15 years, so I apologize. Okay, here's what .cloud is about. Imagine a server running an application, right? Life is good. But your software is locked to the hardware that's running it. How do you move the workload around? Did you notice the really cool thing with the little, yeah. I think I spent like 2 hours on that. Oh, but then we invented virtualization, right? You take the machine and then you run it on top of an actual physical machine. Isn't that great? Then you can have a lot of machines on one machine, so you're free. But now you have lots of little machines running on all the big machines, and it gets really crazy and complicated, and you need to be a magician. Wow. You need to be a magician to manage all that complexity. I was so proud of this presentation. And it goes completely crazy. It's insane. This is, as you can see, not much has changed. Oh, but wait. What if we just created this sort of magical layer where all the servers are below and all the VMs are on top, like a distributed data center OS? And the context here is that I think VMware had recently launched this concept of the virtual data center OS. That was the hot thing back then. And my idea was, oh, I could do this, but open source. Me, alone, with no one caring. Okay, but wait, you're locked in. VMware is over here, and there are a bunch of other proprietary platforms. I forget their names. Okay, you got to follow me here. I think this was supposed to represent, you know, different standards, different proprietary platforms. Oh, but what if you had an open virtual data center platform on top that gave you this portability of workloads, but with something even more lightweight on top? So that was my pitch, and this was the reaction. I actually gave this presentation at I think sort of a startup competition in France, and I was the only presenter that did not succeed in raising any money. And I think the only question was, can you explain what a server is? Because it was the wrong crowd, basically. It was very lonely. Okay, 2009, let's try again. Hi, I'm Solomon. I don't have enough outfits to change every time, but and I want to talk to you about .cloud. Notice that I'm trying to change the angle, right? Let's talk about application mobility. So I lost some of the assets in the export because this is a very old presentation. But I think there was like imagine something really cool and creative. Okay, but the problem is, how do I package my software in a reusable way, right? What if I want to move it from cloud to cloud? What if I want to move changes back? I don't remember it by heart, so I have to look. Yeah, so I write the code, I package the code, I configure it, now I need to deploy. How can I sort of reuse that instead of doing everything by hand every time? So I can deploy it to many different places. This is where I kind of compare to what's existing. Okay, can a virtual machine solve this? Can configuration management solve this? Back then we didn't have Puppet, Chef, but we have the ancestors of that. We had CF Engine, if anyone remembers CF Engine. ISConf, radmin-d. Also, I don't think anyone remembers those, but there was a lot. I love that when I list all the products that were hot and back then. Oh, I guess they did exist, 2009. Okay, never mind. And this is where I say no. No, this is not enough. We want something here. We want something in between at the intermediary layer. We need something else. And that's not cloud. Yes, yes. Okay, this is our spec for a cross-cloud appliance. It's got to be self-contained, run anywhere, small, revision controlled, and based on simple standards. And once it's packaged, you can compile it to different VM images. KVM, shout outs to KVM. Or you can use it as a runtime, where imagine this, you could virtualize on top of the virtualization. This was the slide where I lost people. They're like, that sounds really stupid, because you just didn't do that. You want an extra level of virtualization, like things are not complicated enough. And this is a technical stack. I was so proud of that. OpenVZ, so just for context, back then Linux did not support containers. You couldn't do it. You had to patch the Linux kernel to support what we would call containers today. There were several competing patches, but the one we used was called OpenVZ, and it was by this crazy group of Russian hackers. But you couldn't patch any version of the kernel, so we had to manage our own sort of builds. And also, if you wanted to do this ridiculous idea of virtualization on top of virtualization, you also had to patch the kernel. Back then, still with Zen, KVM was sort of up and coming. We used CouchDB for state management. I think we used it like Kubernetes uses etcd today. And we used Mercurial. Who knows what Mercurial is? Okay, so we use Mercurial, which is a source control. Mercurial is source control. It's like a Git alternative. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I don't have that stack. Okay, so we actually put the whole file system, the container, in source control. And then we used the standard diff tools to show the diffs. We didn't have the copy and write file system yet. That came later. But we were just sort of trying to basically combine these technologies and try the right fit. And then try to get people to be very excited about it. Yes, tell us what you think. Try it, hack it. My email is, I didn't even have a professional email, but I had just Gmail. Contact me. Yes, okay, so this was the reaction of the market. I was like, okay, where is everyone? No one cares. All right, maybe I should call it something else. Okay, 2010, they're getting a little desperate here. Hey, I have this thing, it's called Cloudlets. I changed the name. Universal Server Images for the Cloud. Oh, we have Twitter now. Twitter is a thing. Join us. Start the movement. Okay, how do I share my work? Okay, I'm going to fast forward now. Oh, it's so complicated. We're bad at sharing configuration. That was my angle, sharing configuration. It's a configuration that you can share. You can share it like a VM, but then you can boot it anywhere, and you can share it like code. So you start seeing like some of the evolution of the ideas here. Oh, this is where I show it. I show, look, isn't it amazing? This is a standard. This would be a GitHub commit history, except it was like on Mercurial. You can see changes to the image in source control. Isn't it amazing? This is where people like nodded politely, and you can see the changes, and it's amazing. Anyway, you can see I'm trying too hard. Here we introduced the concept of repository. You can push to my repository. Yes, hashtag cloudlets, let's get this thing going. And this is the market's reaction. So this is where we got very, very lucky. And we, on a complete misunderstanding, got accepted into Y Combinator. Yes. And just to be clear, they did not get what we were doing either. They're like, but they seemed like we were clearly motivated and at least technically competent, maybe not competent at anything else, but we were shipping a lot of code, and we were motivated in the face of adversity, and they liked that. So they accepted us into the 2010 batch. We moved to the US, and when I say we, it's me and like 2 other guys. And immediately told us to pivot, basically. So Paul Graham was like, wait, so what problem do you solve? I was like, well, it could solve all the problems one day. And he was like, yeah, but like, what about now, right now? So we did pivot, and we pivoted to using our own tech to host applications, a platform as a service. And Heroku was very new and very hot back then, and so we basically built a Heroku competitor. And you can see the change of style and tone in our demo day presentation. So this is 2010. Hi, I'm Solomon. And we are .cloud. We run managed stacks for busy developers. I forgot about that tagline. Okay, what's the most painful problem for web developers? It's to manage their servers. It's very complicated. There's a whole stack to manage. And that's weeks of work. But we can make it work in 30 seconds. Yes. Or yeah, even less. This is all the different databases and services and languages that you might use. This is an interesting time travel experiment. You can see what survived the test of time and what did not. And we let you compose your stack out of all these services, and then we can run them anywhere. Same idea here, right? You can see what happened. And yes, all the YC startups use us. Over half of them use us, and they're so happy, so happy. Okay, the reality is they were emailing us tarballs, and we were running them on EC2 for them, and basically just doing free sysadmin consulting work for them. So of course they were happy. Thank you, incredible. And this was Paul Graham's idea. He said, you should make the investors be afraid to miss on the next big thing. And so we said, remember in 2006, which is the very beginning of Y Combinator, before Amazon Web Services was well known, everyone in Y Combinator, all the startups used it. And now they all use .cloud. So just connect the dots and invest in this startup. So that was the pitch. Oh, there's a stack for that. I like that one. Yes, okay. So then we raised some money, and we became like an actual proper startup, and we fast forward. Turns out hosting people's applications is really hard. I feel like I'm with a crowd here that will understand this. In theory, it's great. In practice, everyone hates you all the time. And once you start charging them too much money, they leave for AWS. So it was just not a great business, but we were chugging along, And okay, so I thought it was so interesting. This was our business in 2012. We had customers, we had a little bit of revenue, but you can see not all these things are going up and to the right. We were like in the thick of things. But what's interesting, this is one of my board updates. In 2012, oh man, this is maybe not readable enough. Okay, so there's a bunch of projects we're doing, all sorts of things, and then at the very bottom, there's this little experimental thing called next-gen containers, Docker. And basically, our core container system is 2 years old. We need to do a rewrite. The new core will have a public API, blah, blah, blah. Just, like one thing. And in December 2012, another board update. Okay, the containers project, it's a 4-week experiment. We met 5 potential customers. We gave these demos. There's a strong demand for exposing our core container technology as a standalone API and open sourcing certain components. There's a tremendous opportunity, you can tell I'm talking to the board, for strategic differentiation and branding. This is killer app material, yes. And the board was really not that excited, but maybe you can see a pattern here. Okay, January 2013, board updates. Experiment is a success. We have 10 early adopters. Possible use case at eBay. I remember that demo. So it's not launched yet, right? We're just showing, we're knocking, literally visiting people in person and showing demos of our broken container thing. 2013. This is the actual slide that I used when we showed it for the first time at PyCon. I gave a demo at a lightning talk at PyCon, where I got kicked out off stage at the end because I was going over time. And the people were very excited. And honestly, I could not. Now we have this context. I was very confused as to what was different this time. But people were excited about this thing. And we were in Hacker News. People were very excited. Note the old school Mac OS X interface here. And this started happening. This is when someone leaked it in Hacker News before it was open source. Then we actually launched properly. And you can see compared to our stats before, this is the first time anyone cared at all in any way. And so then we decided to pivot again, back to the original thing. Hello. Hi, my name's Solomon. I actually couldn't find the original presentation, but okay, then we had a lot of these. We were just like more, oh, look, people care. We have, this was, I think, at OSCon in 2014. So we were sort of a year in. Oh, lots of people are using it now. We have lots of meetups. Oh, but what's the big deal? And then I kept this one because you can see the connection with the old presentations, there's something with like, I don't know, I guess I like putting making my little diagrams in Keynote, always Keynote. Once upon a time, there was a simple stack. Now the stack is complicated. You can run all sorts of things on all sorts of things. I guess this whole event is about that dotted line in the middle, right? So you have this matrix from hell. You can run anything on anything. You have this this very nightmarish problem for DevOps people in the middle. And let's use the analogy of shipping containers because they solve this problem in the physical world. You just standardize the box, blah, blah, blah. I think you're all probably more familiar with this version of the story. It's Docker, of course. It's a standard container format. Oh, wait, there's a small detail. Okay, can you see the whale? Notice that this is just as we were finalizing the logo, so the whale is not smiling. Because we actually did a 99 Designs contest for the logo. You can actually find it, it's public, because it was cheaper if you made it public. And we said we want a mascot. And so you can see all the different mascots that were almost the Docker logo. And this was the version that won, but the designer sent it like this, like with a flat, creepy little thing. And then we rounded it up a little bit so that it would smile. And I can tell you we spent a lot of time on the angle of the smile. And I think we changed the color. It was a different blue. Anyway. We're not a VM. That keeps coming back, right? And that's it, thanks. Sorry, I'm not done, but I was done then. And this is actually I thought this was funny, to connect it back to our modern times. This is, oh man, what's his name? He's a big hotshot. I know him. Okay, it's embarrassing. This is like okay. Can you cut that part of the recording? It's very, very mean. Okay, this is basically the group at Google that launched Kubernetes. And they launched it at DockerCon because we were very close with Google, and they sort of saw, because of course they had been using C groups in a very different way than Docker, right? Because they had a monoculture of workloads, right? When you're at Google, you can force everyone to use the same build tool, the same application stack, so you don't need you don't have the same constraints in packaging anything and then sharing it and reusing it. Mostly you care about resource isolation. So later, when things got more dramatic and more competitive, and it was fights over who invented what, we heard a lot of Google invented containers. What they invented was the large-scale segmentation of compute resources using C groups, which I think they contributed to Linux. Anyway, so they immediately got the appeal. Wow, this is going to popularize this technology that we've been working with in production for so long. And so they prototyped this tool called Kubernetes. Brendan Burns, specifically, who I think is at Microsoft now, I remember him coming to me and saying, look at this cool prototype, and it's the first time I'm writing Go, because they were all Java devs in this part of the Google org, lots of Java. And yeah, they launched it at DockerCon, and this is the talk at the first DockerCon where Kubernetes was introduced. And we look forward to creating a great, robust space together, and I think we did. So, there was one thing I forgot to mention: YAML. Yes. So .cloud, like this version, which pivot? I'm getting lost in the pivots. This one, the hosted one, the paths. When in the cool, slick presentation, I say, you can compose a stack of different components. The way we did that is you wrote a YAML file. And to my knowledge, we were the first to do that. And one of the engineers of the team decided to use YAML instead of, I guess, TOML or something else. And you had this topology that you could describe. I want a database here, I want a front end here. And that's the lineage, so I apologize. The exact lineage, I believe, because we traced this back, was that .cloud used it, and then we had a bunch of competitors, and our claim to fame was we were the most customizable platform, right? You could customize things because of the containers. And one of our competitors back then there were so many Heroku clones. There was one, let's say I forget the name of the platform, but the founder was called Ben Firschman. And Ben Firschman later, when he saw Docker, we knew each other, we talked a lot, and then he liked this YAML thing. And then when we launched Docker, he launched a small startup called Fig, and they made this open source tool called Fig, which let you declare different services with a YAML file that was basically the same as .cloud.yaml. And then we acquired that team, and it became Docker Compose. And then Brendan Burns was, trying to make a positive contribution to the Docker ecosystem, make it Docker integrate well. So they wrote it in Go, and they chose YAML as the config format. So that, as far as I know, come see me if you have extra information. But that is the lineage of this wonderful, amazing, not problematic at all thing that is YAML. Yeah. So. Honestly, that's all I have. No, sorry, almost done. Fast forward. It says I still have time. Am I going over time? No. Okay. Okay, wrapping this up. Fast forward. Really, I just wanted to close this up and saying, I'm not done. I thought this was a funny picture. That this was an article that was written about my new startup, Dagger. And I don't know where that found that picture. I thought that was not very nice of them on the left. But yeah, the context for Dagger, we don't have time to actually talk about Dagger. Don't worry, I'm not going to pitch Dagger. But I will say the context for Dagger is everything I showed you. So I'm still hacking on it. And I think what I wanted to share with all this context is that I think there's just this myth that you construct around a very successful product or startup, something that a lot of people use. It seems so simple and easy. And I remember the feeling at the beginning of looking at other products like that and thinking, oh, that's for a different kind of people. Like there's the people who just, they launch, it's successful, and then there's people like me that no one cares, and I'm just going to, I'm hacking on something that no one cares about, and I was trying to show, I wanted to show you that it's actually not the case. Like everyone struggles, you just got to keep building, and eventually, if you keep building long enough, maybe someone will actually care. So my request is that you never stop building whatever you're excited about, and if you want to find me and come tell me about what you're building, then I would love to see it. And if you find me, I will show you a demo of what I'm building, because I'm still building. And yeah, never stop building. That's it.